Hi everyone, welcome. Well, I take it you're having problems with your toilet. That's no fun, is it? I mean, unless you're just a die-hard plumbing enthusiast and you love watching these videos, and that's okay too. But I imagine the reason that you're here is because your toilet's running continuously or sporadically and it's driving you nuts, okay? Well, I'm going to show you the most two common causes of this, all right? Now, the toilet behind me is running continuously, so we'll show you how to adjust that and hopefully that'll fix it. And if not, you might have to switch a part out. And then also the running sporadically, there's a part that you switch out for that too. Okay, so let's have a look here. This toilet right here is doing that right now. So we're gonna pop this lid off, gently set it down on the seat. Okay, so I got my flashlight pointing down there. Okay, so now the water level is adjustable in these tanks. Okay, so this is too high. It's coming up above the flush valve top there of this pipe, okay? This needs to be below. On this toilet it says, this is an American Standard 4.8 liter, it says 3/8 of an inch. I like to go an inch below the top of this, that's what I've always done. But anywhere below this, it's gonna stop it from running, okay? So here's your fill valve, here's your flush valve, flush lever, okay? The old style fill valves had the arm coming across with the float ball here, okay? And you could bend that brass arm, or now if you see them, they're usually aluminum, bend it a little bit and it will displace the water, just like adjusting this down. This float downwards into the water will displace the water and adjust it to be below this, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna put the screwdriver away. I'm gonna use my hand. You can adjust these with a Phillips or by hand. I got the camera in one hand, so I'm going to do it this way. You want to go counterclockwise, okay? So I'm going to start turning counterclockwise. The water's either going to stop, or I'm just going to keep going until it bottoms out here. It maxes out. Just keep on turning. Okay, so the water just stopped, okay? But I imagine it's going to be just below the top of that. So I'm going to go a little further. Another couple turns. And that seems like it's it. That's it. Okay, I've bottomed it out. So now I'm going to go back the other way a little bit. Just because you don't want it jammed all the way one way. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to give it a part flush. Just push down on the lever a little bit. Let some water out. Okay? Now that's not doing anything. That means I've adjusted it too far because it's not trying to fill back up. So I'm going to go back the other way a little more. I just had to touch it and it started filling. Okay? So I'm going to go a little more. There, we'll see what that does. Okay, so that's probably just over ½ an inch. So that's good there. Okay, so now, the second most common cause of a running toilet, sporadically running toilet, is the flapper, okay? Right down there at the bottom, okay? When you flush the toilet, that lifts up, all the water from the tank goes down and pushes everything out of the bowl and out of the toilet, okay? So the flappers do wear out over time, all right? The material starts to disintegrate. Basically, I've seen them so bad that they fall apart in your hand. A lot of times these are black, and if you put your hand down in there and touch the bottom of it and your fingers are black, you know it's done, it needs to be replaced. Now this one's red, sometimes they're blue, but most commonly black. And yeah, easy to change. You just undo the clip on this side, undo the clip on this side, and undo the chain. And usually they come with a new chain on them. Sometimes they don't. So you want to turn the water off to the toilet before you do that, which is right down there. Okay, so, but the reason that you will know that it's the flapper is because, middle of the night, you'll hear your toilet just start running, but it'll only run for 10-15 seconds, and then it stops. And then maybe an hour later, it does it again. Well, that's because there's a little crack or something compromised on that flapper. So it allows a little bit of water to seep out over time slowly. And depending how big that crack is or how compromised the flapper is basically the timing of how often it's going to come on like that. So usually it starts out small. So after an hour, it'll just come on. And all it's doing is it's letting that little bit of water out, just letting it down so that this triggers on and wants to fill it back up again. So it's just got to fill it that little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch in the tank. So that's all you're hearing is the tank refilling itself as the water drips away after an hour or two or less. So yeah, you want to change your flapper. When you change your flapper, make sure you clean around the surface where the flapper seals, because that seals around the exit pipe there. Okay, so yeah, that's about all there is to it there. All right, well, yeah, it's just that easy. I mean, those are the two most common causes of a running toilet. So I hope this helped you. And just another note, if you do go to change out the parts, the flapper, I mean, you can leave the water on. It's just going to run while you change it. The fluid master, the fill valve, obviously you have to turn the water off for that one. And you always want to know where your main shutoff is for your house or your unit before you attempt to turn off a valve to any fixture, really. Because you know, they could start leaking if they don't get used much. They could start leaking, and you know, worst case scenario, years ago I had one. I went to turn it off, and it actually fell apart in my hand. It was so old, and caused a bit of a flood. But luckily, I knew where the shutoff was, and I got it turned off in a timely fashion. So definitely pay attention to where your main shutoff is, so that you can avoid a flood situation. Okay, so I hope this video helped you. And if it did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.